NewGenGamers.com.
Yeah, it had the same enemies, same characters, same background sprites. You know, it was basically an upgrade of the existing game design.
But that game was also extremely hard.
Yeah, it was
ridiculous too.
At New Gen Gamers, we've dubbed it Bowser's Revenge because it is much harder than the original Super Mario Brothers, to the point that, you know, only the hardest of hardcore like Ray here want to play through it. In America, you know, it was perceived that it was going to be too hard for an American audience, and so they did not release it in America. They didn't think we would like it. So I don't know what would have happened had they released it in America then, you know, if people would have caught on to it or not.
Yeah, I really can't tell because it depends on the tastes of the players at the time.
The game was never available in America until the Super Mario Brothers
All-Stars Collection.
All-Stars Collection for the Super Nintendo, which if you watch our Super Nintendo Console Wars of the Past, you can see us, well, you can see Ray play that game, as you've seen him play every Mario game. And so that was the first time we got to see it. So what they did to compensate for the huge American market that was fiending for another Mario game was they retooled another Japanese game.
Yeah, it was called Doki Doki Panic over in Japan, and the original character sprite was kind of like, what was he, an Arabic guy or something?
Yeah, kind of like an Arabic little guy. He became Mario.
And then they introduced the other characters in the Mushroom Kingdom, like Luigi, and they put in the Princess and Toad.
The game was exactly the same. You had the 4 characters to choose from who all played differently. They just retooled it for the Mario universe. But the bad guys, such as these Shy Guys we see here, were in Doki Doki Panic and then became Mario staple characters because of being in this game. So they weren't originally intended to be Mario characters. Oh, look at that trickery.
Yep.
So, this game in Japan is known as Super Mario USA. So there are technically, in the chronology, 2 Super Mario Brothers. One for Japan, one for America and the other territories. And, so it's kind of a divergent game. It plays a lot differently than the other Marios. Mario 3 played pretty similar to Mario 1 and Mario 2 Japan. This one's radically different, but still
pull up mushrooms and
still a great game. We talk about Shigeru Miyamoto's visionary look at the world and stepping into other dimensions and parallel worlds, and
this fits the mold.
Yeah, this definitely does. And spoiler alert, if you haven't played through the game,
it's a dream.
It's all a dream. You find out at the end that Mario dreamed the whole thing. That's why there's all these crazy characters that weren't in Mario 1. Ha ha ha! That makes it make sense. So, this was all a dream in Mario's brain. You have the lottery after this, which was always fun. Try and get the extra lives.
And there were warp zones in this game too.
Yeah, it did. It had a lot of the Mario stuff, but it just, you know, I don't know why they didn't make it a Mario game to begin with, but
well, they decided to go with it for the US release, and this is what we have. And it's really an iconic game still.
Now the original character looks most like Toad. In fact, he looks almost exactly like Toad, except the hat's different.
It's more of a turban than a mushroom shell.
Yeah, he has a turban, so they just kind of made it a mushroom head.
So they kept the original character model. They just made him Toad.
Yep.
That's why Toad is a little more stocky in this game than he is everywhere else.
Yeah.
I think this is the tallest Toad
Toad has ever been.
Because
they were lazy. That's why, because they didn't feel like changing him.
Now, I chose not to take the warp there because I wanted to fight Mauser here. Here's where the warp would be. You just go down that, and I believe it takes you to level 4.
You can only hear that tip on newgengamers.com.
Yeah.
Shh! Don't tell anyone.
I am giving out the tips left and right here tonight.
Ray is a 1990s Nintendo Power game counselor lost in time.
That's right.
Found in the year 2008 by New Gen Gamers. He tells us of retro.
I am the retro
Of the
man.
way things were back in his day.
Man, that makes me feel old.
We are becoming codgers. And we don't even realize it. Those of us who were weaned on this system remember it fondly. Some of you may have started playing video games later on, maybe earlier on. But for Ray and I, this is probably the system that we really cut our teeth on.
Yeah, we all grew up with this one, and that's why it's the nearest and dearest to our hearts. And we remember all these things like, you know, we're not reading off of a script here.
We like it more than we like our families.
I wouldn't go that far.
Alright. But
I like my family.
I didn't say I dislike them. I'm just saying it's almost like another brother or a buddy or, you know, someone you remember hanging out with. Yeah, these video game consoles become that level with you, and it's an experience. It's a shared experience between friends and family.
I will admit I like this game more than my elementary school class.
I've seen you hug Mario cutouts, so
yeah.
We will definitely have to say that it is a cultural thing. I mean, it is a part of our lives, and that's why we do this. You know, they're really great memories and great experiences, and great fun even to this day.
Yeah, Mario is my friend more than any kid in my class.
I like him a lot.
He understood me.
I like him a lot more than most of the kids I went to school with, and I still hang out with him more, probably.
Hell, I don't even know where half the kids I knew are anymore. Not that I care to know.
But that's the effect that that this culture has, I think, and that these games have. They are certainly memorable experiences, and that's what the Nintendo really brought to the table. All of the games we're looking at here are really memorable, you know, and we had to pick a limited selection of games, and we're just running our mouths for a couple hours here, so let's move on. And
now,
here...
This is iconic right here.
We looked at The Legend of Zelda. We looked at several Super Mario Brothers and looked at the differences between them. Here's a very different Legend of Zelda title from pretty much any other one in the series.
Yeah, this one kind of went off on its own and was more of like an adventure RPG title.
Yeah, it added a lot more RPG titles, like a dedicated overworld map, more of a hit point system to build your character up. So we're going to hop into a game, started off right here at the beginning. It's not right at the beginning, but pretty close. So here's the overworld map, but you can get into battles from the overworld map, and you get to different towns and dungeons through this overworld map.
Now, wonderful tip number 2, or number 27, if you stay on the path, you don't run into any battles.
That is true. If you stay on the beaten path,
you wander into that?
Here comes the monsters.
Hey, いらっしゃい、レッドスネークカモン。はい、どうした。ああ、大根が出て、お前がなんでそっちにんだよ。この野郎、邪魔な野郎で。お前笑ってるやつあるか、本当にもう。大根引き抜いちゃうから。抜く、担ぐ、投げる。正統派アクションゲーム、夢工場、ドキドキパニック。7月10日発売。
NewGenGamers.com